call our meeting to order. We are January 14th, 2020 meeting. Ask everyone to stand and give Council Board to their invitation.
Oh, gracious Heavenly Father, we once again, Lord, we gather together. Father, we thank you, Lord, for bringing us through another year, Lord, in 2019 and through the holidays. And Father, we approach this year of 2020, beginning of a new year and beginning of a new decade. Father, we thank you, Lord, for allowing us to assemble together. And as this year come forward, Lord, we got a lot of things that we want to do and a lot of things that we need to do. We continue, Lord, to ask for your guidance. Help us with our vision. And we keep our hand in your hand, Lord, each and every day. With these and all the best at your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Up next, we have approval of agenda items.
Mr. Acting Chair, Vice Chair, I make a motion we accept the agenda as written.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? And a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, it's unanimous. All right. Up next, we have election of officers. And so Dr. Prince was the chairman, and so she's going on to mayorship. So I guess we just need to open up the floor for, we always elect the chairman and vice chairman. So with that, we'll take for chairman first, then we'll go to vice chairman.
I nominate Jason Steen
Second.
for chairman.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any others? All right. With a motion and a second for Jason Steen, all in favor, raise your right hand. All right, it's unanimous. Thank you for that. We always work as a team, and we'll continue to move forward in 2020. Up next is vice chairman.
I nominate Ms. Plato for vice chairman.
Second.
All right. We have Ms. Plato for vice chair, and a second. Any others? All right. With that, we take a vote for Ms. Plato for vice chair. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. It is unanimous. So, Ms. Plato, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks to that. So we thank y'all for, and we'll continue to work as we've always been as a team. No big I's and little U's. We always work as a team as council. We're going to continue to do that as follows. Up next, we have a presentation for our audit report ending June 30, 2019 from Shaheen, Hancock, and Goodwin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Council. Thank you all for having me here tonight. Another good audit for Marlboro County for 6/30/19. They received an unmodified opinion, which is the highest level of opinion that we can give on a set of financial statements. So the financial statements that are presented to you today are a reliable set of financial statements. What you have is the audit report and a summary that is put together. I'm going to go through the summary and highlight some of the things, and if you have any questions or anything afterwards, I'll be glad to answer any questions. Number one on the summary is just an outline of the audited financial report. Pages 1 through 3 is the audit report, which provides the unmodified opinion. Pages 4 through 11 is the management discussion and analysis. I believe we tabbed page 9 for y'all in your audit report, which kind of gives you a general fund budget highlight that you can read. Pages 12 through 23 is the basic financial statements. Pages 24 through 55 are the notes to support those financial statements. Pages 56 through 81 is supplemental information that is required to go with your financial statements. And pages 82 through 83 is the compliance section. The compliance section is a report provided by us stating that there were no findings this year for the audit 6/30/2019. Item number 2, the analysis of financial position. This obviously is a summary here, overview of assets and liabilities. The detailed information can be found on page 14 of your report. But total assets as of 6/30/2019 for the county was $8,061,004, and total liabilities was $2,433,752. Item number 3, the analysis of the activity, revenue, and expenditures. Again, this is an overview of total revenues and expenditures. I summarized revenue and expenditures with a little bit more detail is found on page 16 of your financial statements. But the total revenues, operating revenues for the county as of 6/30/2019 were $11,645,135. There was sale of capital assets for the year of $31,101. And there was some transfers, inter-fund transfers of $250,907, which was total revenues of $11,927,143. Revenues, more detail, revenues versus budget for y'all is also found on pages 56 to 57 in your audit report, to look at that later. Expenditures, operating expenditures for the year were $11,749,047, which left a positive increase in fund balance for the year of $178,096. We've been doing the audit now for a couple years, and there have been some small losses over the last couple of years, and this helps make up some of those losses and bring the county back to a good position. Again, we've enjoyed working with the county over the last couple of years. We come in, we're in for a week, 2 weeks. We ask for a lot of information. An audit takes some time, and it takes a lot out of the staff's day when they have daily work that has to be done. And we appreciate all their hard work that they've done in helping us get this and done in a professional manner to provide y'all with an audit. Your staff does a great job each year managing cash expenditures versus budget. I mean, it's done really well, and y'all should be proud of the staff that y'all have management-wise helping run Marlboro County. With that being said, that's all I have. If there are any questions or anything I can answer, I appreciate it.
Any questions from council members?
I had something.
Mr. Marlboro?
We, with regard to our fund balance, can you speak to how many months we have and how many months we should have in reserve?
Yeah, so GFOA recommends that a good fund balance is about 3 to 6 months fund balance reserve, and the county's got about right at around 5 months of reserve, so they're in a good position where they're at right now, moving forward.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. So it's good to know that, that the money's coming in is being used wisely, and watching every penny, and it's good, always good to get a good report. So we thank you for that. Thank staff for their hard work.
Mr. Steen,
yes.
Chairman Steen, I think we need a vote to accept that. Don't we usually do that? Yeah, I'm sorry, we didn't put that on the agenda.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Well, we need to move it.
I move that we accept the budget or the audit, excuse me, as written.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the audit. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you. That is approved. All right, up next is approval of minutes, December the 10th and December the 19th. I guess we can do those together. All right, well, all right, since one of them was out, we'll do them separate. On December the 10th, we need a motion for those minutes.
Motion to approve the December 10th.
Mr. Byrd,
Second.
and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. And on December the 19th, called meeting.
Need a motion.
So move.
Motion.
We have moved. We need a second.
Second.
Ms. Plato, second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. All right. Thank you. We have one that was out. All right. Old business, ordinance 791, ordinance to amend an agreement for the development of a joint county industrial and business park of Dillon and Marlboro counties so as to enlarge the park. This is the third reading. Mr. Mullen, can you talk on this?
Mr. Chairman, this is a tax agreement, tax incentive agreement we have with Dillon County, and they do with us as well when we have a new industry. So this is the third reading. This is just a legal agreement to allow them to offer the incentives to the company they have there.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion, we'll set ordinance number 791, third reading.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 791. All in favor, raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Thank you. New business, ordinance 792, an ordinance establishing the Marlboro County Tax Assessment Appeals Board, first reading, title only. Mr. Mullen.
Mr. Chairman, this is something that has been around for some time and needed to be renewed. It's a board that can hear when you do a reassessment, as we'll be doing in coming years. You'll have somewhere that they can send an appeal to. So it's just a housekeeping measure, and we'll have the meat of the ordinance by second reading.
All righty. Do we have a motion for ordinance?
Such motion.
Mr. Blackman?
Second motion.
We have a second by Mr. Gladden for ordinance 792. All in favor, raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Thank you. Ordinance number 793, an ordinance to authorize the Marlboro County to enter into an agreement with the town of McCall to provide fire protection service within a designated unincorporated area of Marlboro County, first reading, title only. Mr. Mullen.
This agreement's similar to the one we have with the city of Bennettsville, and it runs out in April, I believe, and so we needed to start reading it. It's basically for the McCall Fire Department to provide coverage, kind of like the city does, right around outside the town limits. We will have to meet with the mayor over there and fine tune it, but we'll have that going before your next meeting.
Okay. All right.
Motion to approve ordinance 793.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for ordinance 793. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, it is unanimous. Thank you. Next is discussion of state roads not yet repaired from Hurricane Florence. And we know there's a lot of talk been on that, and so we've talked about it for over and over and over. So here's just something that I want everybody to know. So as everyone knows, OY Road and Academy Roads were damaged during Hurricane Florence in September of 2018 and closed by South Carolina Department of Transportation. Now, almost a year and a half later, these important roads are still closed. Besides being a burden to our citizens, the closure of these roads is endangering the lives by delaying EMS, law enforcement, and the fire departments. It's interesting that OY Road was damaged during Hurricane Matthew 2 years earlier, but was repaired by the state. This time, the state won't fix the road and instead claims that private landowners have responsibility in making repairs. You know, to make matters worse, representatives as well as some members of the Marlboro County Transportation Committee has said that our private landowners need to pay to have these state roads fixed. Even more crazy, somehow that the county should have the roads fixed. These are not county roads. Last year, Marlboro County collected $587,000 in road maintenance fees, but spent $200,000 more than that to maintain 185 miles of dirt roads. That's where the money is, and that's how it was spent. We just had an audit, and you know the money, it shows in our audit where it was. On the other hand, the state collects gas tax money from citizens for road repairs, yet these roads are still not getting fixed. At the top of the state is sitting on $1.8 billion surplus this year. And also, the Marlboro County Transportation Committee has reported $2.4 million in the bank at the end of July, with more than $1 million coming this year. You know, these roads are closed, and that's a lot of money. And you know, when roads are being maintained at Lake Paul Wallace going to Jack's Island, that road was paved. The bottom line is, our citizens deserve better. These two roads are state roads, and they need to be fixed. Quick look at the DOT website indicates these are the only roads in the state still closed from Hurricane Florence. Our citizens deserve better. That's the only two roads in the state that's still closed. So, you know, for everything setting aside, politics, blame game, whatever, you know, we urgently need Representative Hannigan, you know, to get at the state level and fight for these roads to be fixed. You know, last time I've talked, a meeting has not even been organized. So if they say it's one thing or another, it hadn't. I've talked to the landowner, and a meeting has not even been set. So I would ask administrator, if nobody else brings anybody to the table, let's make something happen. That's the only thing I know to do is you know, let's ask more delegation members to come to the table to see what can do. I mean, whatever it takes. I mean, we have citizens that's suffering because this road is not being, these roads are not being maintained. And so we just want discussion. Anybody have anything to say on these roads?
I do, because we've talked about this here a number of times. We have 2 House representatives and 2 senators. And for the longest, we've been asking to meet with the 4 of them. Their schedule stays so busy that none of them, at no time, can meet with us to talk about the problem that we get. That's all 4 of them. It's time for, I think, the citizens to get involved also and call and ask our senators and our House representatives, why won't you meet with the council? Why don't we sit down and talk and work this here out? And that's the 4 of them. There's no 1, no 2, no 3. It's all 4 of them. They refuse to do it because they have to make it accountable for where the money's going and what's being done, and they do not want us to know, nor the public to know. That's something we need help with. Y'all need to help us call them and get it done.
Anybody else? So, it is important to me, as a fireman. I know it's important to the Sheriff's Department. It's important to EMS that they have to delay critical time to go around this for life-saving measures. People going back and forth to work, I have to go out of their way to get around OI Road. I mean, this is a traffic count of 1,100 cars a day. So something has to be done. So we need our representatives to fight for the money at our state. There was not a $1.8 billion surplus. I wouldn't probably be saying a whole lot, but there's a $1.8 billion surplus at the state level. It's a lot of money. And one of the poorest counties in the state, and we can't get help to get our roads fixed. So I've said my piece, and I just want some action. We've been going on this for a year and a half. Something has to be done. Up next, appointments to boards and commissions. Anybody have anything, any appointments?
Chair, I got a, excuse me, I got one appointment, and Miss Bundy, will you will give me any vacancy I may have? Unfortunately, we had my recreation commissioner passed away over the holidays, just before the holidays, and right now we are in an interim situation as commissioner. And at this time, I would like to appoint Willie McCoy as the recreation commissioner. And I think I might have another position open, but I need to make sure if that person still active on the commission. That's what I have.
We take that as a motion for appoint Mr. Willie McCoy to the Recreation Commission for Club. Second. You need to have a second. Is there any more appointments to boards and commissions? With that, we need to call for a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Thank you. Reports, Finance Department, Ms. Moore.
Mr. Chair, members of council, for the month of December, expenditures were at 45% of the budgeted amount. And of course, since December marks the halfway point in our fiscal year, this is on target and what we would like to see. And revenues for this month exceeded expenditures, which is also what we like to see now that tax revenue has begun to come in. We are pleased with our audit results for fiscal year 19 and greatly appreciate the hard work that all of our county employees do to ensure that we stay in compliance and have a good audit every year. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Mr. Muller.
Mr. Chairman, as we always do, we recognize service anniversaries. This year, we only have one. Ms. Tawana Jacobs has 6 years of service. Events coming up are recent events. We had lunch at the community kitchen. You know, we've taken that on as a community service thing. This time, a team of employees, along with Councilman Woods, did this. Councilman Woods and his wife Jackie provided shrimp and grits and potato soup, salad and applesauce. It makes me hungry just hearing about it. And we want to thank them for what they did to make this happen. There is a Scotland Healthcare has a community meeting, their annual community meeting January 30th, Thursday, 6 to 7 at the Berea Baptist Church in Pembroke. So if you're interested in going, I went last year, it was in Marlboro. So it's probably a good thing to go to, considering our work to try to bring a hospital or some semblance of a hospital here. There's also a legislative breakfast on February 3rd that the Chamber of Commerce is putting on at the Sky. Ms. Bundy will have information on that. And then the last item is, it will soon be time to fill out your ethics report you have to fill out each year by March 30th. And you can file that online. There's, of course, a late fee if you don't. But again, Ms. Bundy can help you with that if you don't remember how to get there or where to go for that. As far as economic development, we were happy to hear from Eris and Clive yesterday that they are beginning to advertise for even more people in the coming weeks. You know, they originally signed on for, I think, like 150 people, and they're going to 250. So they hope to be at 250 by next year. So that's really exciting that they not only are going to hit where they promised, but they'll even go past that. Excited tomorrow to have a company coming in to look at the county. This is the first one we've had this year, and the first one we've had in several months. It slows down at the end of the year around Christmas time. So they'll be in town tomorrow, and that's a good thing. Strategic initiatives, we've had a good response from the meeting we had where we presented the county's strategic initiatives. I spoke to the Rotary Club about them last week. So soon we'll start to organize meetings to have committees and that sort of thing to have folks involved. And as we get to that point, I'll be sure and contact you all if you've heard from any citizens that have particular interest or skills or anything like that that might want to be involved with a certain part of that. We're looking forward to that. Moving to the administrator's report, the Recreation Department is conducting a survey to try to get input on how to improve recreation. As you know, the council wants to make some real improvements there and offer things that aren't just for children and, you know, stick and ball sports. That survey is online, and we put the link on Facebook and the county website, and we'll advertise it in the newspaper. So we can get you that link, but if you're on Facebook, you know, if you go and look and share that, or if you know someone that's been vocal about, you know, recreation, good or bad, over the years, send them a note and ask them to do it. That's what I've done, and we were able to generate a lot of responses yesterday by just staff sitting around and sending them out to folks. We're moving along with the cleanup of the state line area in McCall where the casinos were, the casino trailers, and of course you heard about that last time. But we hope, Mr. Carabo tells me he hopes if the weather will hold that they want to pour footings for the sign, the Welcome to Marlboro County sign, next week. He didn't want me to say that out loud because, you know, something could delay it. But and so we hope in the next few weeks they'll go ahead and do the bricks for the sign. It'll look the same as the one coming in on 15 from Society Hill and 38 from 95 and number 1. So, and it's long past due. McCall, it's always had that kind of little dinky sign we had out going further down. So this will be nice. And the cleanup, we've heard a lot of folks happy with cleaning that up. Moving on to solid waste, Mr. Carabo will give us a quick update on how we are with implementing the new system and how that's going.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, Waste Connections implementation plan has been activated and is on schedule to start service on February 10th. Carts will be delivered into the county next week, the week of the 20th, and will be distributed to the citizens prior to the February 10th start date. You're going to hear February 10th a lot, so that's when we're starting. No matter when you receive your cart, if you receive your cart the last week in January, you're still not going to get service until the week of February 10th. So if your service day comes out to be on Friday, you won't get picked up until February 14th. So the service starts on February 10th. The trucks they've been on order. They're going to be delivered next week also. The drivers have been hired. They're in place and they're running the route. They're running the routes in trucks right now, and they're assisting in the implementation process. All addresses of the unincorporated areas of the county, which means outside of the city limits, have been entered into a software system, and the routes have been generated. Waste Connections employees have physically driven the routes and will continue to fine-tune them until February 10th start date to ensure that on-time and complete service. Letters to all citizens who will be getting the service will be sent out on January 27th. And these letters will detail your service date, the instructions on how the service is going to work, and start date of when the service is going to be. And that's going to be February 10th. Also on February 10th, all residents in the county will have access to an app that they can download onto the phone. This information will have basically the same information that the letter is going to have. It'll have information about routes, service days, and it can be downloaded on your iPhone or any Android device. And also on February 10th, the Easy Track link will be added to our county website. Now, this is a link that citizens can go on if they need instant access, or like if they got a problem or a missed pickup, they can go on the website, click on it, and the customer service person from Waste Connections will pass the word along, and we'll get, if it's a missed pickup, we'll get it picked up. But they can also go on there and put a compliment on there, so we'll take all the compliments we can get. Finally, we've had a few questions about payments and the timing of the contract. Taxes are due on January 15th. So the contract's going to start in February, and it's going to run from February to February. So there's no lapse in time. The contract runs from February to February. Anybody have any questions? When's the service start?
February 10th.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Carabo.
One quick thing to add to that is, there's an article in the paper, and there were concerns about the PD Indians, and some folks are here tonight. We know a lot of people in the group, and some of them are our friends, that sort of thing. So we respect their opinion, and we respect their right to disagree. But a couple things I want to make a point about, and one of is the assertion that they've made that that this was done in haste and behind our backs. And we had these that came in, and I think some folks have picked them up. Folks might not agree with it, but that's not the case. There were 9 public meetings over 5 months. There were meetings were put on Facebook and YouTube. There were 3 community meetings, if y'all remember, across the county where folks could talk and present their opinions, and they did. The newspaper published articles after each public meeting, some on the front page, a lot on the front page. We advertised for the bid, who would come in and bid on it, and that was published in the paper and online. So all these things were put out there, and I know that council feels very strongly about conducting business out in the open. I mean, just in the last, I guess, year, maybe a little bit longer, we added that camera right up there, which goes on Facebook. Now, everybody doesn't have Facebook, but a whole lot of people got Facebook. And when something controversial is going on, you usually hear about it. And the other thing that is of concern is the claim that there was discrimination. And in fact, it was the opposite. Council sought out an option that gave a discount to people on homestead exemption, which is disabled or over 65. And that was a $35 break on the on the charge there. As far as the county council not putting it on the people in the cities and the towns, they already have a service, and so y'all don't have the ability to go do that. I guess if they didn't have one, they might have applied to them as well. So, you know, we certainly appreciate everybody's opinion, but those are two things that I, you know, talking to council, that council was concerned about, that there wasn't any backdoor meetings or anything like that on that. That's all I have as far as the administrator's report. If y'all have any questions, I can try to answer them. Thank you.
All right. Up next, we have recognition of citizens' request to speak before council. First, Mr. James, is it Boston? Boston. Okay. Come on up to the podium. Just let everybody know there's a 3-minute per person.
Okay, no problem.
No, thank you.
My name is James Bostic. I'm from the U.S. Census. I'm the partnership specialist for Marlboro County. And what we want to emphasize is that the census is going to be on April 1st. Everybody in Marlboro County needs to be counted. Every living individual, okay, in Marlboro County needs to be counted. Because with that $675 billion that's funded annually among the states, the money follows the numbers, not the need. Looking at that aspect. I don't care what your needs are here in Marlboro County. If you don't have the numbers, you're not going to get funded, okay? And it's also pays for your free lunches that you have at the school, as well as some of your emergency transportation supplies that you need. So what we're looking for, we're working with Ms. Pearlie Lawson here, also Ms. Pat Hennigan, to make sure that we have a good showing on April 1st. Right around March 1st, the first week of March or the second week of March, you'll start receiving invitations in the mail. Okay? It's going to be like a 3x4 postcard, and it's going to have an ID number on it. And you can go on the computer and fill it out. It takes about 15-20 minutes. Okay? And then you get 3 or 4 more invitations to make sure that we get the correct head count in Marlboro County. Now, it's easier this year because you can do it on the computer, you can do it on your smartphone. Okay? And for those individuals that are not computer savvy, I think Ms. Lawson is working with your director of library so they can use the technology down in your library. Okay? Looking at that aspect. But we're meeting on the 28th, about 1:30, for a complete count committee. And the purpose of that committee is to make sure the low-lying areas that don't respond normally are counted. And you guys are trusted voices in the Marlboro County, and we're looking to you guys to make sure that we have an accurate count. Now, after the 5th invitation, you'll see our folks out, okay? Field representatives and also enumerators. They'll be going into neighborhoods and making sure that we get the household occupants count, okay? Looking at that aspect. You got to understand, when I talk to folks, I make sure that they understand that it's confidential and private, okay? We took an oath down in Atlanta, okay, that we will not share this information with anyone. The information won't be released until 72 years. And I was talking with Mr. Munley earlier. I was asking, where will you be at in 72 years? Okay, hopefully with the Lord, right?
Yeah.
So looking at that aspect. But if it is violated, there's a $250,000 fine and 5 years imprisonment. And also, in closing, we do have part-time jobs in Marlboro County for the census. They're paying about $14.50 an hour. And I've given the young lady some information, she'll share with you later, about the census. Okay, but if you have any questions, I'm your person. I represent Marlboro County, Chesterfield County, and Florence. And I grew up in Marlboro County, as Mr. Woods can attest. We grew up here, I just moved across the river a little bit ago. So we're looking at that aspect. So we're looking forward to working with you. But if you have any questions, if you contact Ms. Lawson, she'll put you in contact with me. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Up next, I think Mr. Philip Locklear, is that correct?
I'm from Berea section of the county, and I do oppose this tax being, or the trash being added on to my property tax. It's not that I don't want to pay the trash. It shouldn't be added to my property, I mean being made pay it. And another thing I want to bring to the council, do you feel like you are doing the people justice that's in the county? I've been going out from house to house with that petition, and they are disappointed in y'all for doing this. And another thing, I might be fixing to step on some toes. Do you know that our administrator is related to the one that owns Connection Waste.
That's not true.
Well, it's been brought to my attention.
Be sued for standards on that.
Well, it's been brought to my attention.
Well, they're incorrect.
Well, they said you had done been,
Well, that's good, thanks for saying
but that's all I got to say, but it's unfair.
Up next, we have Mr., is it Richard Levine?
Thanks for allowing me to say something here today. I want to talk about not being properly notified. I myself, I'm not on Facebook with this group. I'm not on Twitter, and I don't get a paper. But when this was handed out, that's when I knew what had been done. But that was after the fact. And then when I knew what was actually going on is when I got my actual tax bill and called about it, and they saying not paying the full amount can result in losing your property. That's really what I'm upset about. No one should lose their property because of a fee, because of a waste management fee. And asking to rethink this, give people the opportunity. They should have a choice. If I choose to pay it all at once, then I should get that big discount. If it's going to be making payments, well, it's going to cost you a little more. But at least give people a chance to decide how they want to do it. And I appreciate y'all listening to me, and please rethink it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We thank y'all for coming. Up next, we have recognition of council members. Mr. Odom.
Well, first thing I'd like to say is regarding the state line, it would be good to get that wall put up, a new sign. It's been a long time coming. The whole idea from always, well, like 7 of us up here now, is to get the county cleaned up. You ride these roads, you look at the litter across this county, and it had to stop. I've been on here 3 years. I've been out to talk to a bunch of people about it, and it's just terrible, the amount of just pure litter. And I think a lot of that comes from people not having a garbage container at their house. 25 years ago, Marlboro County Council passed an ordinance that said to follow DHEC guidelines that every resident that produces household garbage would have a garbage container. Over the years, I think some people turned them in, they got them. Nearly a third of the people were not paying Davis. Is the reason. That was part of the problem. But those third of the people, they were still creating household garbage. It's going somewhere. It's going on somebody's private property. It's going in ditches. I know Keith's cleaned up one ditch outside the call. He's cleaned it up 5 times in the 3 years that I've been on the council. But the bottom line is DHEC has always had a mandatory law. It's a $500 fine if you burn household garbage in your yard or you dispose of it on private property and on college. And I understand paying the thing up front is a hardship for people, but next year, hopefully, we're going to get it worked out. We're going to try to find equal payments over the course of the year. But in this first initial setup of it, we had to do this. And the bottom line is we're never going to attract industry, we're never going to attract people to come live in this county until we start getting it cleaned up and make it presentable. We started out at the state line, which to my knowledge, I feel like was probably the worst entrance, without a doubt, coming into Marlboro County. But that's just part of it. The litter that you see up and down these roads in Marlboro County is just a pure disgrace. And it's got to be stopped. That's all I know.
Mr. Blackman.
I would just like to say that going back to the roads there, the wire road and stuff, a year and a half is just too long for that. I could see 3 or 4 months, getting other roads and getting to it and all, but a year and a half still closed. It's just, it doesn't make any sense at all. So I agree that we need to talk, with representatives and senators and get on this quick because it's just uncalled for. So.
Thank you.
I'm glad to see you all here. This is what we need. You got complaints, you got problems, and you don't think we're doing the right thing. And you need to come to us and say, I don't like this here, or can't we make some adjustments? And we need to have this all the time, as many people as possible come and confront us. And here again, we also need to go to our senators and House representatives and let them know what problems that you got. Let them know that you're voting people. And that if you don't like what's going on, how you gonna vote? Tell me, tell them. That's the way changes be made. Not if you sit home and fuss about it, right? Bring it to the table, to all our tables. That was a great idea. But I do understand why we did what we had to do. And I know everybody's not gonna agree with it. But it was necessary to do it. But stay honest. I welcome you all the time.
Mr. Mitchell?
I don't have anything else to add that's already been reiterated. I reiterate what the other council members have said, but I appreciate the citizens coming, and I hear you, and we got something to work on. Thank you.
Ms. Plato?
I hear the citizens too, and we're very concerned on how you all are feeling. And I'm hoping that we can work together and ensure you that we are doing the right thing and going in the right directions. Everybody's not going to agree with you, I don't care what you do. But the main thing is showing them that we are trying to help instead of hurt. And I know that's probably hard for some people to see, especially when they're on a fixed income and they can't do certain things. But just keep talking to us, and I'm quite sure the administrator there, he will do everything as possible to help you all, without a doubt. Catch you.
Can I speak?
No. No, sir, you can't. You have to sign up beforwards.
Okay. And he will do whatever he can to help. I do know that. Okay. And I've had some complaints, and some people come to me and complain about the same thing, but I got my little chart I had out and showed them the savings that they would save versus what they've been paying now. So they saw through what I was telling them. They said, well, you know what, we didn't look at it that way. But what they was doing, they was looking at that lump sum they had to pay, but not looking at the fact that what they was paying each month average out to a savings at the end of the year on this new plan that we have. And so sometimes you have to take things and weigh it out. You look at it one way, but look at it more than one way. Well, is this the right way, or and then you can probably kind of figure out whether you're saving or whether you're gaining. Some people say they're not, and some people agree with it, that it is the best way to go. So it's just something that we have to iron out and keep talking about and keep praying about too, and hope that we'll get to a resolution on it, solve it one way or the other. Next thing is thank you all also for voting me in as vice chair. I will do my best to do whatever I can to aid and assist the chairman, and I feel pretty proud about that. We got a lot of work ahead of us, all of us not going to be pretty, but we still got to work and get it done. And I know we're going to continue to work regardless of what the situation may be before us. We still can't stop working. We got to keep working and working for the people, no matter what. So that's about all and I hope that by me being vice chair, that you don't miss no meeting. Okay? All right.
One thing where a lot of people may have an illusion is everybody in this room pay taxes. The council member, we pay taxes just like y'all do. I pay trash. I got a trash bill. I had to pay mine today also. So but we all pay taxes, and there's always, anytime there is a change, there all gonna be chaos. There all be chaos, sir. There all be. Anyway, I pay, we all pay our taxes and we pay our trash bill, we pay accordingly. One thing that, we know in this, 2020, the new decade, there could be some changes, there could be some improvement, there could be some people gonna be upset. Out of 30,000 people, we ain't gonna satisfy everybody, we know that. But our job is to do the best for the whole entire county, not for one individual, not for one race. However you want to look at it, it is one. There's a lot of things that is confusion. There's a lot of things that people not happy with. But we will continue to do what we think we best for the county overall. On the community kitchen. On a lighter note, I'd like to thank Ms. Bundy for your assistance at the communication. It's the first time I worked it. My family and I had a eye-opening experience. We were very well received. It is Ms. Ann and run a tight ship. It's very helpful. We at the end of the day. It was a long day, but my wife did most of the work, but my hat's off to her. But in the end, a lot of people enjoyed the meal. We enjoyed serving the meal. And we will do it again when there's another opening. Don't know what the menu might be, but we will do it again. And I'm glad everybody in the new year we're here, we're above ground. That's first and foremost. I thank God for being above ground because a lot of us are not here. The chair.
Thank council members. Just to let some of them know that's been here the first time, I mean, the reason we sign up beforehand is just to keep order, run the meeting in order. It ain't that we don't want you to talk. We ask you to sign up and we speak and we listen. We don't get in we don't respond back and forth. It can get heated and out of hand, and we like to do everything in order, just to keep everything civilized. So that's the reason we run our meetings like we do. But we do want to hear from everybody. As Councilman Gladden said, we work hard and we listen and we take everything that everybody has, we write it down, and we think about it, we pray about it, we try to make the best decision for the citizens. We don't always agree, and I'll tell anybody, I catch it at my mama's kitchen table. And so about different things. So whenever you hear it from Mama, you hear it from everybody. But we do try to do what's best for the citizens of Marlboro County. That's what we're elected to do. And if we get where we don't try to do that, we should step aside and let somebody else do that part. So it's a huge task. Any of these council members can tell you, or councilwomen can tell you. It is a huge task, and we do want what's best for Marlboro County. That's the bottom line. As we said earlier, the roads, we're going to be pushing hard, as Mr. Blackman and different, I've said, just that's too long for the roads to be out. It's too long for our highways to be down, and especially when we're the only two. As we said again, I mean, $1.8 billion at the state, $2.4 million at a county level transportation committee, and our roads are still closed. So, like I said, we need help. We need to get these roads open. They're state roads, and that's what the state needs to step up and fix them in a hurry. So we thank you for that. Thank you for voting me as chairman for another term. As we said before, we all work together. No big eyes and little U's. We'll all work together to move Marlboro County forward. With that being said, nothing else. Call this meeting adjourned.
What have you been doing?